Welcome! This is my happy place,
where I love to cook and bake for my friends and family. Having food allergies, or in my case, an issue with gluten, can feel like doors are always closing. So I've made it my mission to open every door I can to create beautiful, delicious food that everyone at the table will enjoy, without feeling like they're missing a thing. So come on in! Bright and sunny like a warm summer day, lemons are so versatile. They're great in sweet and savory dishes. They can brighten up a salad dressing, and they can be the dominant flavor in dessert. So pucker up, I'm taking you on my personal food tour of lemon inspiration. Today, we're making a weeknight family favorite, lemon basil chicken. A rice dish inspired by the Greek islands, broiled salmon with a creamy basil sauce from my college years, a sweet and crunchy salad introduced to me by my friend Kim, and finish off with a cool and refreshing limoncello frozen custard. That pays tribute to a family trip to Italy. And ever since my friend Charlotte invited me on a trip to England for Harry and Meghan's wedding, I can't get enough of scones. And that's where we're gonna start, lemon poppy seed scones. And they are quick and easy to make. Start by preheating your oven with a baking stone or baking tray inside. While that's heating up, combine the dry ingredients. Flour, I use gluten-free of course, sugar, baking powder, salt, and poppy seeds in a large bowl. And mix it all together. In another bowl, combine the eggs, melted butter, milk, and you can use a dairy-free substitute if you'd like here. Lemon zest and lemon juice. Whisk that together with a fork. Then pour that mixture into the dry ingredients. There's no special equipment needed. Just mix it all together with a fork or spoon until it forms a ball and all of the dry ingredients are mixed in. Then plop the dough onto a flat tray lined with parchment paper. Shape the dough into a 1-inch thick round disc. Next, use a sharp knife to cut the dough into 8 wedges. Pull each of the wedges away from the center, leaving about a 1/2-inch space between each piece to allow air to circulate and cook the sides of the scones. Reshape any of the wedges if needed. And now bring the scones over to the preheated oven with either a hot baking stone or baking tray inside and carefully slide the parchment paper with the scones on top onto the hot surface. 15 to 20 minutes later, carefully remove the scones that are lightly browned on the edges and soft, but no longer doughy. For a sweet lemony drizzle, combine powdered sugar and freshly squeezed lemon juice, stirring it until it becomes a smooth glaze, just like that. Now, transfer the warm scones to a serving platter, drizzle with the sweet lemony glaze, and sprinkle on a little extra lemon zest and some poppy seeds on top. Oh my goodness, do they look good or what? Now you can serve these with some clotted cream and jam, a little butter, or some berries on the side. As much as we may want to, we can't live on lemon poppy seed scones alone. And as a working mom, I need healthy go-to recipes for the work week that are really quick to make. This lemon basil chicken takes less than 20 minutes to get on the table, only a handful of ingredients and 1 pan. And even better yet, my kids love it.
Yeah, we do.
It's crazy good.
Given how quick and easy this lemon basil chicken is to make, I generously sprinkle the chicken with salt the night before, then store it covered in the fridge. This will ensure that it is tender and juicy because the salt helps to break down the proteins in the meat and lock in moisture. When you're ready to cook, rinse the salt off and pat it dry. I actually do this with all of my meat, chicken, pork, and beef. It's a quick and easy step that makes a big difference in the flavor and texture. Now, heat olive oil in a skillet to medium-high heat, then add in the chicken. Let it brown on one side, then flip it over, and cover the skillet with a lid to trap in the heat and moisture. When the chicken becomes cooked through, remove it from the pan and let it rest on a serving dish. Leave the heat on medium-high. Add the white wine, freshly squeezed lemon juice, red pepper flakes, and chopped garlic. Stir it around a bit and scrape up the flavor on the bottom of the pan, and you'll notice that beautiful garlic coming alive. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Let it bubble, reduce, and darken, which only takes a minute or so. Then add in the butter and stir it so that it melts and combines well. Finally, toss in the basil, letting it heat through for just a few seconds. Taste the sauce and adjust the seasonings if needed. I added in a little extra chicken stock. Then pour the sauce over the chicken and you're ready to dig in. My husband and I took a trip to Greece many years ago. That's when we picked up that painting and we fell in love with the simple, fresh salads made with local ingredients like tomatoes and olives and feta. Add to that a generous squeeze of fresh lemon and you've got this Santorini rice. Oh, and it goes really well with the lemon basil chicken. And check out how beautiful the Santorini rice is too. To make it, we start with adding lots of flavor to the rice. Begin by heating olive oil in a large saucepan. Add the diced onion, salt, and pepper. Give that a good stir, and once the onion has softened a bit, add the chopped garlic and allow that to cook for a minute or so as well. Once the garlic has softened and becomes fragrant, stir in the rice and add the chicken stock. When it comes to a boil, put the lid on top and turn the heat to low. When the rice is fully cooked, turn off the heat and add the chopped fresh oregano. Stir that around really well, then transfer the rice mixture to a large mixing bowl. Add in the freshly squeezed lemon juice, olive oil, Kalamata olives, tomatoes, and feta cheese. Stir it to combine everything really well and then transfer it to a serving dish. Sprinkle with crumbled feta and fresh oregano or parsley, and that's all there is to it. Time for a coffee break. When we come back, we're making broiled salmon with a creamy basil sauce, Kim's salad, and limoncello frozen custard. The Santorini rice that we just made also pairs really well with seafood or fish, which brings me to our next recipe, broiled salmon with a creamy basil sauce. I adapted the recipe from this. It's my very first cookbook that I ever bought when I was a freshman in college. It's been really well used and with me for, well, a long time. This beautiful broiled salmon is perfectly cooked in just about 5 minutes, so let's start with the creamy basil sauce. Combine fresh basil, parsley, scallions, sour cream, mayonnaise, salt, and pepper into a blender cup. Puree for about 30 seconds until all of the ingredients are smooth and creamy. Pour it into a serving dish, cover, and let chill in the fridge until you're ready to serve. You can even make this a day ahead if you'd like. On to the salmon. Drizzle each fillet with olive oil and season with salt and pepper on both sides. Then place the salmon fillets on a well-greased foil-lined sheet pan. Now I use parchment paper while filming this to reduce camera glare, but you're gonna see in a moment why that wasn't the best decision. Now pop it into the preheated oven on the highest rack possible and broil it on high for approximately 5 minutes, give or take a minute or two depending on how thick the fillets are. These only took 4 minutes. And you see that smoking burnt parchment paper. Of course, that's why it's better to use foil. Plate them up right away with a generous spoonful of creamy basil sauce and a slice of fresh lemon to squeeze on top. Check these out. They're lightly browned on top, but moist and flaky inside. That's why I like broiling them. Besides breakfast, of course, every meal at my house has a salad. This one was introduced by a good friend, and I always give credit where credit is due, so I named it Kim's Salad. It's an addictive combination of greens, berries, and candied pecans. Nope, no lemons here. But it's a great sidekick to balance the tart lemon basil chicken and the richness of the broiled salmon. And talk about quick and easy. Kim's salad is crunchy, creamy, crisp, and sweet with only a few ingredients, and the candied pecans are the only thing we need to make. So we begin by heating a large frying pan over medium heat. Add butter, brown sugar, and maple syrup, and stir them together. Use your spatula to break up any clumps of sugar. Then add in the pecans, sprinkle them with salt, and continue to stir and coat the nuts with the sugar mixture. Allow it to bubble and boil, but watch it very closely so that it doesn't burn. In just a few minutes, you'll begin to notice the aroma of toasted pecans, and that's when it's done. If you have a candy thermometer, reaching about 300 degrees will bring it to the hard crack candy stage, which is the goal. Pour the pecans onto a sheet of parchment paper. Once they cool, you can break them apart or roughly chop them with a knife. If they didn't happen to get to the hard crack candy stage, they might be a little sticky, but no big deal, they'll still taste great in the salad. To assemble the salad, begin with a large plate or bowl of fresh spinach leaves. Toss in bite-sized pieces of honey goat cheese, quartered strawberries, and the candied pecans. Brianna's poppy seed dressing is my favorite store-bought option for this salad. Or just drizzle a little olive oil and freshly squeezed lemon juice on top. Look at that! I managed to sneak in a little lemon. It's time for another coffee break. Don't go too far. We're making creamy, sweet, and tangy limoncello frozen custard when we come back. Like many families, we scream for ice cream and frozen yogurt and gelato, and in this case, custard. Limoncello frozen custard. It's inspired by our family trip to Italy, where we indulged in frozen treats daily and sometimes twice a day, and there were lemons and limoncello all over the place. This limoncello frozen custard is an easy favorite for dessert, and with just a few simple ingredients and my easy method for making the custard base, it's also a treat to make. For the custard base, combine sugar and egg yolks in a saucepan off the stovetop. Use a hand mixer to beat them together and expect it to look grainy like this at this point. Now for my custard method. There's no need to heat the milk and temper the eggs. Just add 1 cup of cold milk, lemon zest, and salt. Mix it together really well. It will still be a bit grainy at this point, but that's okay. Now move it to the stovetop on a medium-low heat. The important part here is not to heat it too quickly and to stir continuously, scraping the bottom to make sure that nothing is sticking. This is what prevents it from turning into scrambled eggs. After a few minutes, it'll begin to simmer or boil. Adjust the heat lower if the bottom of the pot sizzles like this. Now you can see that the sugar has dissolved. Then when it thickens and coats the spoon, remove it from the heat. And we cool it back down by adding the remaining cold milk, heavy cream, limoncello, and fresh lemon juice. Mix it all together really well and then store it in the fridge for several hours or overnight until it is chilled completely through. And finally, pour the chilled custard mixture into the ice cream churn and allow it to do its thing. Mine takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get to the soft serve stage. Feel free to dig in at this point if you'd like. Or you can transfer it to a freezer-safe container, garnish with a little lemon zest, pop the lid on, and stash it in the freezer until you can no longer resist the temptation to scoop this frozen delight. We'll be right back after this break. Thanks for joining me on this lemony adventure. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And you can find these recipes by going to athomewithshay.com, sign up for my newsletter, and holler at me anytime if you've got questions. See you next time.